Hi, number 4. So I'm going to start with a basic update on how I've been doing since my previous video. So I've actually not been doing great. I've previously had an alcohol problem when I was 15, and I kind of slip back and forth with alcohol, and I've had times where, so I can barely see, I've had times where I've struggled before with alcohol. I'll think, oh, one night of self-destruction, I'll go out to the pub or I'll buy a few cans and I'll sit in the house, and I think, you know, it'll only be one, or oh, it'll be a few, or it'll only be one night. I've actually been drinking quite a lot recently, so I've not been doing the best. I've been smoking quite a lot more, so that's, I'm not doing good. I'm really not doing good. Mentally, I'm exhausted. Emotionally, I'm done. Physically, I'm not okay. I'm currently in a manic state. But, you know, thankfully the alcohol's a depressant, so it's bringing me down to a level. So I'll be honest, I'm not drunk, but I am under the influence making this video. But yeah, so I've also lost my partner. Thankfully we're on civil terms, so it wasn't really a traumatic breakup or anything like that. Just the fact that our opinions are too different, and we live complete different lives. So I do wish him the best, I do. He's a great guy. But for today's video, moving on to what this is all about, I'm going to be talking about someone who was in my life when I was 14. As I've said before, there's only one person that I will name whenever I discuss any of my abuse, and this is not the person that I will be naming. I named him in the first video. I didn't mean to, but I did. But I've got plenty of evidence with that one. Sadly, pretty much every case that I'm going to discuss on here, I don't have police evidence of, because I went so long thinking that I couldn't trust the police. But yeah, so here we go. When I was 14, I was hanging out with a lot of 18, 19, 20, 30, 40 odd year olds, thinking, you know, oh, well, I must be too mature for my age, and you know, I'm drinking, I'm doing drugs, I'm smoking, I'm sleeping with people, you know, I must be older in the head. And I completely thought it was normal at the time, because as I said in previous videos, I was forced to grow up way too soon. So anyway, there was 2 people, which, to be quite honest, I think it'd probably be easier to mention both of them because they correlate. The first one, who I viewed at 14 as my boyfriend, when I look back, he was just a paedophile. I was 14, he would have been 19, and we used to smoke a lot of weed together. There was a time where we went to go pick up some at this bridge, and he left his friend, who is the second person I'm going to talk about. His friend was on top of the bridge to pick up the weed, and me and this person was underneath the bridge, and he's giving me a hug, trying to be, you know, cutesy, cuddling to me, and next thing I know, he has hands down my trousers, and at the bottom of the bridge there's like a kind of wall. So as he was hugging me and he had his hands down my trousers, he was like using his feet to kind of like manoeuvre me towards the wall, and me not thinking and not seeing an issue with any of that, because obviously I was out my face and going through a lot. I ended up in a situation that I felt really uncomfortable, and I was far too scared to say no, because I was alone. I was by myself with this older man under a bridge. Like, there's no cameras, there's no witnesses, and it was broad daylight. So I was stuck. And I just went with it and just let him do whatever he wanted, because I was too scared to say no. Also the fact that it was my boyfriend as well. But thankfully I eventually got away from him a few months later. There's several occasions with him where he wasn't the nicest. moving on to that, onto his friend, because I'd say for me, I'm more traumatised by his friend than I would say him. I became really good friends with his friend after me and him broke up, and his friend was a dealer, and I ended up getting, I'll say sniff, because I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word on here. I buy sniff from him quite a lot, and I got to the point where I was hanging out with him so much that I was taking it constantly, and I ended up addicted. I got to the point where I didn't care what it was that was given to me. If it went up my nose, it was going up my nose. You could put dust in front of me, at that point I probably would have tried to inhale it. And it got to the point where, obviously I was 14, I didn't have my own income, and I couldn't exactly keep going, oh hey parents give me money. So it got to the point where he said to me, look, we're friends and I know your age, I don't mind having to share some mine with you. And no, naive me, 14, thinking, oh that's great, thank you. It stayed like that for maybe about a month, if that. And I caught myself alone with him in his flat, and he set a few lines out for us, and I was just about to take, and he quickly like put his hand out in front of me to cover the stuff, and he said to me, but you need to do my favour first. And I thought it was going to be something stupid like, oh, clean the kitchen, something stupid. But he said to me that he wanted me to give him oral, and I was like, I thought to myself, you know, I've just accepted this as pretty much what any and all male is going to want from me, is just nothing but sexual favours. So I did it. I was crying while I was doing it, and then that came to an end, and I took, I believe it was that night I went back round, and he said to me that that time he wanted actual intercourse, and as I said, to me that was normalised in my head that that's what was going to happen. So I went and done it, and then I took more, and that was my life for maybe a year, roughly about a year. And at the time I viewed it as, you know, he was my friend and it was just normal what he was asking of me, but very obviously it wasn't. He used to give me pet names, because obviously we all know what 14-year-old girls are like. Anything that feels like, that makes them special, especially from an older male, if they have older men issues, they'll run to it the second they get the opportunity. So he would give me little nicknames, he would message me telling me he loved me and stuff, made me think that there was feelings involved. When in reality, all I wanted was, you know, what was underneath, and he knew that I wouldn't go to the police about any of it, because at the time I was dealing with another court case to do with what was going on to me, and obviously me thinking he was my friend at the time, I told him that I'll never go to the police again, because it just, no one was believing me at all. Everyone viewed me when I was younger to be a promiscuous teenager. No one viewed everything else that I went through. So I didn't think there was any point in telling anyone about anything. So once all that finished, I still have pictures of me and this person when I was a minor. Thankfully everything's covered. We were under covers, and the cover's covered from here down. But up here is bare on me, so you can clearly tell that I was in bed with this person naked, and obviously that alone is illegal, never mind the clearly what happened stuff. So I still have the evidence of that, and I refuse to go to the police at the moment purely out of fear, because I know who this person knows, and it's terrifying. So it was absolute hell. And I'm sorry if I repeat myself, or if I go quiet for a second, or if I go off topic. It's not easy. It's not easy things to talk about, especially on video for YouTube and Facebook to hear. It's not the easiest things for me to discuss. So
making your product or doing your service, but you're not so good at
yeah.
marketing. Gemini is
I'm trying to remember where I was. But yeah, so he finally got in my life. Pardon me, when he got in my life, I thankfully, well, I say thankfully, I ended up meeting this girl, and she was about a year younger than me, and I ended up getting involved with alcohol, which is when my alcohol addiction started. And I won't go too much into this topic because one of the people that's on my list is involved in that era of my life. But anyone that's known me for however amount of time, like a long amount of time, sorry, anyone's actually known me, sat down with me, spoke to me and gotten to know me and listened to me knows that it's always been one thing after another. Even the times where I've sat in my house, I've not spoken to anyone, not even my closest pals, I'll avoid my family, no matter what I do, no matter how much I try and isolate myself, there's always something going on in my life. I always get dragged into something, or something gets brought up, or I just never get a break. It's one thing after another. I go from one abuser to another, and people say that I go out my way to seek them out, but the thing that they don't realise is how many people will pretend to be such a loving, caring person and be something completely different, and then when they get comfortable and they know that you won't leave, that's when they'll act up, and that's when they'll show what they actually want to be like with you. Now, I'm not going to say that's the case for everyone in my life. I will say that I've had poor judgment because I've personally not realised what was going on at the time. I did obviously see it, but I just didn't, think to myself, right, okay, that's bad. Because the way I always tried to rationalise it growing up was, well, I've been through worse. I've had worse done to me. Or, that's normal. People usually do that, that's fine. Which obviously isn't the case. So, I'm going to end this one here because I always end up rambling and I talk about different situations in my life and things. But yeah, so there's a 2-0 winner for all of you. But I just want to quickly clarify, the reason why I'm making these videos isn't for a hi guys, come feel sorry for me. It's not a listen to what's happened to me and feel bad for me. It's about people being able to speak about what's happened, whether it's to the police, whether it's to a psychiatrist, a therapist, a counsellor, to their friends, to their family, to online, to anything or anyone, or even if they want to message me privately, whatever it is that gets people to speak about, whether you're male, female, they, them, it, whatever your pronouns are, I don't care. You can be a turtle. I don't care. It doesn't affect my life. I don't care what you are or who you are. But anyone who has been abused in any sort of way, even if you view it as, oh, but it's not that bad, well, you know what, your partner's screaming at you and calling you a bitch is bad enough. That is abuse. It's verbal abuse, and depending on how it impacts you, it can also be mental and emotional abuse. So that's a 3 in just one word. So the reason why I'm trying to make this platform is so that people start talking about what's going on, because there's not enough people doing it, and the more silent people are about it, the less people are going to realise, look, no, we are not going to sit here and let you get away with it. We're going to open our bloody mouths and make sure that everyone knows what you've done. Like, don't get me wrong, if someone's to message me about these videos and ask me who it was, depending on who it is and depending on who they know, I'll tell them. But within reason, because if I obviously don't have evidence, then I'm not getting into, court cases and things. But, yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that at the end there, that the reason for these videos is so that people can listen and know that they're not the only ones that's been through certain abuses. So I currently have 71 people on my list that I'm going to talk about in these videos. There is more, but that's what I've got so far. And I'm going to discuss each and every situation, because you never know if specifics of my situation could possibly get someone to talk up and be like, okay, actually no, that was abuse. I didn't realise that was abuse. I thought that was normal. Whereas when they hear me, they might realise, actually, no, it wasn't normal what happened to me, and I don't feel okay about it at all. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna shut up finally, and I hope you all have a good day.